Hey guys, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitars Ready Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play Plush by the Stone Temple Pilots, which is an awesome tune. Now in this video, I'll teach you the electric version, but also the live acoustic version as well. Both are very similar, but for the acoustic version, you will need to detune your guitar down a whole step. For the studio version, you'll just need your guitar in standard tuning. If you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarsreadyhero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you're fairly new to guitar and you're looking to build a strong, solid foundation, but you don't know where to start, then check out the Guitars Ready Hero Premium course and membership, which gives you all the guidance to play with confidence. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Let's jump into the lesson. Okay, so I'm going to start off by teaching you the studio version. In the second half of this video, I'll teach you the live acoustic version, which has different tuning, but for the most part, a lot of it is the same. But moving on with the electric guitar version, in terms of tone, I'm just using a high gain amp channel, and I've added some chorus and a bit of reverb as well to my tone. If you want my Boss Katana tone patches, I'll leave them in the description. Let's start with the intro, which is a really fun riff to play. We're going to take our middle and ring fingers and put them on the 3rd frets of the 2nd and 1st string. We're going to strike the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings together twice, and then mute the strings right after that on the 2 beat. What you can do is just drop the side of your palm onto the strings so that nothing else rings out. You don't have to do anything other than that, just dropping your palm onto the strings. So 1 and 2, and then we change to our next chord shape like this. So we're going to move our middle finger up to the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, and index finger goes onto the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. We're going to hit these 3 strings here on the end beat after the 2. Hold that out for the rest of the bar. For the 2nd bar, we shift our index and middle fingers down 1 fret. So just move them down 1 fret, keeping your ring finger where it is. We're going to hit this position twice. And again, on the 2 beat, just drop your hand onto the strings. And then on the end beat after the 2, we'll lift our index and middle finger and hit the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings, keeping our ring finger where it is. So 1 and 2 and 3. On the 4 beat, we'll hit the 2nd and 1st strings. Then you'll put your index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, hit that, and then your middle finger onto the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. So those 3 plucks are close together, and that's on the 4 beat. 4 and the first 2 bars in total. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Those first 2 bars are basically it. We're just going to be repeating through that again and again. So the 3rd and 4th bar. Now what we can do at the start of each riff is actually slide into that first position from the 2nd fret here with our middle finger. Like that. And that's actually what occurs here in the 2nd line of tab. So we'll hit these 2 notes. And then we'll mix things up by just hitting the 3rd string here and then dropping on for a mute. So, and then going to our 2nd shape. That's just a slight minor variation. You can just ignore that if you want to and just play those first 2 bars of music through effectively 4 times. But together with that slide. And then the final time we play it, we're just going to end with this open position. So the final time we play the riff. And that's it for the intro, which sounds like this all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next we get to the verse and there's 2 lines of tab here, but effectively we're just playing 1 line of tab through twice. We're going to start with the G major chord. Now we're going to strum this with a down, 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 up, right? But there's a couple things to consider. So the first 2 strums are the G chord. The next 3 strums, the down, up, down, are going to be mutes. What you'll do is temporarily lift your fretting fingers off the strings and just make contact with the strings so that nothing rings out. So down, 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 up, down. And on the final up strum, we'll move to our next chord, which is a D/F sharp. So keep your ring finger where it is, put your index and middle finger on the second frets of the 6th and 3rd strings. And that's on that final up strum, okay? So down, 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 up, down, up. And then we're gonna continue on with that same strumming pattern. So down, 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 up, down, and change on the final upstroke to our next chord, which is an F major. All right, so the first bar. For the second bar, we continue on with the F for one strumming pattern, and we change on that final up strum to a C/E. So it's a C chord, but we're gonna let that low 6th string ring out. So this first half of the bar, and then continue on with this shape for one strumming pattern. On the final up strum, we change to this D sharp major 7, which looks like this. So bar your index finger across the 3rd frets of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string. Ring finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string, and pinky finger on the 6th fret of the 5th string. Really beautiful chord, but that's on the final up strum. Down, 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 up, down, up. So the second bar. So for the final bar, we continue with this chord shape, but the exception here is that we're gonna stay on this chord on that final up strum. So down, 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 up, down, up. And then for the second half of this bar, it's down, down, up, and then we'll go back to an F chord with a down, down, up. So the second half. And that's it for the first line of tab. We effectively just play that through twice for the verse, which will sound like this. Next we get to the pre-chorus, which is a lot of fun to play. This is a super cool riff. We're gonna start with a D5, so it's basically a D chord, but we're just gonna have our middle finger lifted here. For the first chunk, we're gonna hit the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, and then pluck the 4th and 2nd. Then we change chords by taking our middle finger and putting on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. You can lift your index finger now. This is more or less a C/9 chord. We're gonna hit the 5th, 2nd, and 3rd, and then change to a G/B. So index finger now goes to the 2nd fret of the 5th string. I'm going to hit that with a downstroke. So that second chunk. And we're going to go back to our C/9 with a downstroke. And then what we're going to do is go back to our G/B with an upstroke on that 5th string. Then back to the C/9 with a downstroke, but after you pluck it, you can pull that middle finger off that 5th string. So the final chunk of this bar. And I play that with a down, up, down, and in total. And that's repeated through 4 times. Next we get to the chorus, which is pretty simple. There's just 2 lines of tab here. It's very similar in terms of rhythm to what we had in the verse. So we're gonna start with this D sharp major 7 chord shape. We're gonna play the same strumming pattern. So down, 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 up, down, up. And on that final up strum, we play the chord again. So the mutes are only on the 2E and beat. 1, and 2E and up. Then for the second half of this bar, continue 1, but on the final upstroke, we move to our next chord, which is the F major. For the second bar, we continue on with this F major, and we don't change on that final upstrum. For the second half, we play it again, but then we do change on that final upstrum. and in total the first liner tab. The second liner tab is basically the same, just for the second half of the second bar. With this F, we're gonna hit a down stroke, hold that out, and then down, up, down, up, down, up. So the strumming pattern changes a little bit there. Like that, and the second liner tab. And that's it for the chorus, which sounds like this in total. Now remember, with the mutes, all you need to do is just to make contact with the strings with your fretting hand. And then that way, anything you strum will be muted. Ensure that you're not pushing down on notes, because then when you strum, obviously those notes will ring out. You just want to make contact so that you get the mutes. Next is break number 1, which is basically that intro riff played through twice. So nothing really new to learn there. It's just a shortened version of the intro. Then we have a second verse, pre-chorus, and chorus, and those are identical to the first verse, pre-chorus, and chorus. So the next part to learn is the post-chorus, and this is a really fun riff to play. So we're going to play a G5 power chord like this, so index finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, ring and pinkies on the 5th fret of the 5th and 4th strings. We're going to strike this up until the 2 beat with all downstrokes, so 1, 2. On the end beat, we're going to do a muted strum. So drop your palm onto the side of the strings whilst you pivot around that point and do a downstroke. So 1, 2, and up. So on the R beat, right after that mute, we're going to hit that power chord one more time and then slide down to the F power chord with 3 more strokes. So 1, 2, and 3, and up. On the 4 beat, we do another muted strum, and then right after that, we hit the power chord again, and then one more time, just at the end of the bar. 1, 2, and 3, 4. For the second bar, we're going to go to our C, but just focus on the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings. Again, we strike up until the 2 beat and do a muted strum on the end beat after 2. 1, 2, and I play this with my pinky on the 7th fret of the 4th and index on the 5th fret of the 5th string. We're going to hit this, slide up 1 fret, and then continue on with another 3 downstrokes, and then back down to 5th and 7th with another 3 strokes. So that second half, and the second bar in total. And this first line of tab. First line of tab is repeated through 3 times. The second line of tab is almost identical, except when we hit this D5 and slide up, we just hold that out and then go back to the D5. So the final line of tab. Then there's break number 2, which is basically the same as the intro. It's just that main riff. After break 2, there's another chorus, another post-chorus, and finally the outro, which is more or less the same as the intro. And those are all the parts for the electric guitar version. If you want to see the full playthrough, skip to the end of the video. But now I'll switch to an acoustic guitar and I'll show you how the acoustic version is played. Okay, so for the acoustic version, they detune their guitars down a whole step. So our tuning will be D, G, C, F, A, D. Again, every string will be detuned down 2 semitones. Let's start with the intro. It's very similar to the electric version. We're just going to put our middle and ring finger on the 3rd frets of the 1st and 2nd string. We can strum everything from the 4th string onwards. Okay, so we really want to avoid the 6th and 5th strings. You can hit anything from the 4th string onwards. We're going to strum this twice and then do a muted strum. So essentially what you can do is just drop your hand onto the strings, and as your palm makes contact with the strings, your pick will strike them as well. So 1 and 2, and then we'll change to this position. So middle finger goes up to the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, index on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. So we're going to strum that on the end beat after 2, and then continue on with a down, 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 up. And the first bar. And then we move down to this shape, so just move your index and middle fingers down 1 fret. And we're going to play a similar rhythm. So 2 downstrokes here, then a muted strum on the end beat after the 2, and then lift your index and middle fingers for a G chord. And we're going to strike this, hit it one more time, and then we're going to hit it one more time with a downstroke. On the upstroke, put your index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and then on the next downstroke, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. So down, up, down, and the bar in total. Now for the 3rd bar, we're going to slide into our starting position. So on the first downstroke, slide that middle finger into place. And then another downstroke, muted strum, and then our 2nd chord shape. Hit that and let that ring out for the rest of the bar. So the 3rd bar. And for the 4th bar, we go to this 3rd position, strike that twice, muted strum, and then end on our G. So 1 and 2 and. Now that bar we just played is a 2-beat count. So 1 and 2 and then we hold it out for another 4 beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. On the end beat, we'll just do a muted down up strum, and that will take us to the verse. So this is the intro. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Okay, so next we get to the verse. This verse is identical to how it's played in the original version. Obviously, all the strings are just detuned. So we'll break each bar up into halves. So for the first half, it's a G, and on the final up strum, we're changing to a D/F sharp. So down, 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 up, down, up. And the 2E end beat are muted. So we just temporarily lift our fretting fingers, and that way you'll get the muted sound. And for the second half, it's D/F sharp to F. And for the second bar, it's F to C/E, so down, 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 up, down, up. And for the second half of the second bar, C/E to this D sharp major 7. This chord shape is a little tricky, but you should be able to get it. Index finger barred across the 3rd frets of the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string. Ring finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string. Pinky on the 6th fret of the 5th string. So the second half of this bar. And for the 3rd bar, we continue on with this D sharp major 7. And on that up strum, we stay on it. And for the second half, it's down, down, up, and then go to the F for down, up, down, up. So the second half of this 3rd bar. That's it for the first line of tab. Notice how we're generally always changing chords on upstroke. That's just played through twice for the verse. Next we get to the pre-chorus, which is a lot of fun to play. We're gonna start with a D sus2 or a D5 chord. So it's the same as a D, but we're gonna have our middle finger lifted ready to play a C add 9 straight away. So we're gonna play down, down, up, and then go to the C add 9 with a down, up, down. And then on the next upstroke, it's a G/B. So index finger then goes to the 2nd fret of the 5th string. So C add 9 to the G/B. And so far. We hold on to this G/B with an up, and on the next downstroke back to the C add 9. And then on the next upstroke back to the G/B, back to the C add 9 with that downstroke, but then you can pull your middle finger off that 5th string as you strike it. And that's the last part. And in total, and that's just played through 4 times, which sounds like this for the pre-chorus. Next is the chorus, which is basically identical to how it's played in the original recording. Again, everything's just detuned though. There are some variations here and there throughout the live recording, but I'm going to keep it simple with what you see below. So the strumming pattern is very similar to what we have in the intro. So let's break each bar up into 2 halves. So we start with the D sharp major 7 and we continue on for a full bar. So first half, but we're not changing chords yet. We'll change chords in the second half to the F. And then for the second half, we stay on this F until the very end where we change back to the D major 7. The second line of tab is almost identical except for the second half of the second bar where we play down, down, up, down, up, down, up. And we'll just mute on those strums that you see below. But that's it for the chorus, which sounds like this. After that, there's a break, which is basically the same as our intro. Then we have verse 2, pre-chorus 2, and chorus 2, which are the same as verse, pre-chorus, and chorus 1. And then we have the post-chorus riff, which is a lot of fun to play. And it is played identically to how it is done in the electric version. So we're going to play this G5 chord, do all down strums up until the 2 beat, 1 E and a 2 E. On the end beat, do a muted strum. Pick it back up on the same chord, and then move down to our F5 for 3 more downstrokes. And then another muted strum on the 4 beat, pick it back up again, and then 1 more time to end the bar. And in total, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Then we go to our C/E, strum up to the 2 beat, 1 E and a 2 on the end beat after the 2, muted strum, and then go to a D5 power chord, hit this, slide up to the 6th and 8th frets, hit this 3 times, and then back to the D5 3 times. So, and the riff in total. That's played through 3 times. In the second line of tab, it's almost the same, except when we slide up to the D sharp 5, we'll hold that out, and then down to the D5, hold that out. And that's it for the post-chorus. Finally, there's the outro, which is just twice the length of the intro and break. It's that same riff though. Played again and again until the end. And that's everything for the acoustic version. Again, it's more or less the same as the electric version. It's just shortened. The arrangement's a bit shorter. They cut out the final chorus and post-chorus. And of course, everything is detuned a full step on the guitar. So now I'll be doing the 2 playthroughs of the song. The first playthrough will be the studio version on the electric guitar, and the second playthrough will be the live acoustic version. For both of these, I'll have a vocal track on top for some context. A big thanks to my friend Eric for lending his awesome vocals to this playthrough. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go. Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here. Or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitarzerotohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.